sip out a couple and shit, it's some butter, but I love it, baby. When I jump out the whip, when I hop out the whip, then I'm fresh in the latest. I do what I want, when I smoke to the plate. I drink till I pass out, I wake up and drink up.
What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Next Gen 720, and I am back with another video. If you haven't checked out my last video, please do so. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you're watching my videos, I gotta look at my demographics. Somebody just showed me that, and a lot of people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I appreciate it. It actually helps me out a lot. It actually helps me to help you guys out a lot. In my last video, not my last, Gamer versus Gaming, I was able to give away several codes: Gears of War 1, 2, 3, 4, also Mafia 3. I'm working with a few people behind the scenes. They're gonna sponsor each show. They give me codes. I just gotta plug their product or their brand, whatever. But it helps me to help you guys. I guess as far as giveaways and stuff like that. So like I said, if you're not subscribed, please do so. I'm going to be giving away some Xbox Live codes, probably for the multiplayer podcast or either Xbox Beast Fighter Night. We'll see. But anyway, like I said, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button. I appreciate it. So anyway, there are a few rumors floating around. So I got finished talking to my boy, the pony leg breaker extraordinaire. Let's check my man Crap out.
I want to talk a little bit about something that I heard of, and I know a lot of you are like, well, Crab Gamer doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just lying about this or lying about that. Check the facts about the specs that I mentioned on PlayStation 4 Pro, about all the stuff that I called well before E3 from both Microsoft and Sony, and how right I was about all that stuff. And I was right about the PS4 Pro not having a Ultra Blu-ray player months and months in advance because none of the documents mentioned it. I was right about all the maintenance times for the PlayStation Network. Unfortunately, as far as their brand is concerned than Microsoft. So even though I'm more of a Microsoft guy, I tend to get more information from Sony. You know what I mean?
That is
so
true.
I heard something that was kind of interesting, and that was that the yields or whatever for the PlayStation 4 Pro were possibly causing issues, and that's part of the reason we haven't seen much hype surrounding the PS4 Pro from Sony, and that's the fact that this thing could possibly get delayed. Apparently there's some issues with overheating and things like that. And again, take all this as rumor right now because I don't know 100% for sure, but I do have a decent track record with this stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was some overheating issues, because if you look at the PS4 Pro, it's slightly bigger than the standard PS4, the launch PS4, but it's also got an internal power supply and things like that.
Okay. So anyway, so I guess Crap knows some people. They know some people. They know some people, such as myself. We all a lot of things we get sent to us on Twitter, not publicly, behind the scenes. A lot, not saying that this is true, but it may be true. Like at the end of the day, because well, like I said, anyway, let me get back. Like a lot of things we do. A lot of times we do get sent things. I'm sorry, behind the scenes. Like I told you guys about. I gave you guys the Titanfall 2 launch, Microsoft with the price cut of the Xbox One before they didn't even announce it at E3. And like I said, again, I've told you got these things here on my channel before Microsoft or even EA or whoever Respawn came out and gave an official launch date for Titanfall. I gave it to you here on my channel. Like I said, a lot of times, like I said, we do get sent things. So Crap's saying that he heard from somebody that knows somebody that the PS4 Pro is having overheating issues. If that is true, I won't just go as far as to say this thing is going to be delayed, because when the console comes out in about 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. I won't say. Well, that's not even for me to say. That's really cutting it close. I think if the console was going to be delayed, Sony would have came out and announced it already. The consoles are already shipped out. Stores have them in the back of their, in the back. You just can't put them out and sell them to the public. You know what I mean? So, Windows 10. Now I don't talk to you, Siri. So I don't think, like I said, the console is going to be pushed back to late. Now that's not to say that it's not having some performance issues as far as overheating. And if that is the case, that will truly suck, because unlike Microsoft, Sony can't afford to have a quote-unquote red ring of death. That's it. Microsoft back then about $2 billion. Sony is really riding hard and heavy on hardware this year. VR, Slim, and the PlayStation 4 Pro. You know what I mean? So if that, I hope there's no issues, like I said, because I am gonna get a quote unquote a PlayStation 4 Pro. I don't have a PlayStation 4 right now. You know what I mean? So I traded my standard PS4 in. I got $200 for it. And all I had to add $200 more and I get the new PlayStation 4. It's a no-brainer. So you know what I mean? So I hope there's no issues. Like I said, but any console, anything that I buy, whether it's console, gadget, TV, DVD player, anything, I put insurance on everything that I buy. Anything that comes off an assembly line mass production, you stand the chance of having getting a faulty one. Shit, you see this would happen with the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Like, you know, things happen. But like I said, at the end of the day, I hope there's no issue. Boom. Enough of that. Going to what I wanted to talk about originally in the said here video, that the PlayStation VR, though not selling bad, is not selling out. You know what I mean? My question is to you guys: do you think that? Shout out to my man Darren Spivey. He the one who gave me the thumbnail for the video. Do you think that the PlayStation VR will outsell the Kinect or match it in sales? You know what I mean? When the Kinect came out in 2010, it broke all types of records. Number one selling device or whatever the case may be. Broke a few records. Like I said, it was the gift and the curse. You know what I mean? It was so successful that Microsoft tried to capitalize it on again, which as far as with the Xbox One. Don't get me wrong. You probably can't see my. You can probably see a little white light back there. That's my at them 3 purple lights. That's my Kinect. I love my Kinect. I use it for recording gameplay, the Xbox record, Twitch and all that stuff. I get it. As far as motion control gaming, not so much. But like I said, some things can be the gift and the curse. Like you see what happened with Nintendo with the Wii, with the motion control, with the gimmick, and they try to do the same thing with the Wii U and it bombed. But my question is to you guys: do you think that the PlayStation VR can outsell the Kinect or match in at least in sales? Now I know there is a big price difference. The Kinect was $150, I believe, at launch in 2010, and the PlayStation VR at minimum is $400. But again, you're still gonna need the Move controllers. You know what I mean? To fully utilize the thing. Now, like I said the day, it is. I'm not saying that it's not. I think right now it's number 16 on Amazon. Not sold out. Like I said, sometimes with these companies, but it's a business at the end of the day. Don't think Microsoft spins numbers, so does Sony. All that tomorrow, the PlayStation VR, it sold out in 5 minutes. As far as pre-orders, maybe they put 1,000 units out there. You understand what I'm saying? And they do that stuff like that. Companies do it to build up the hype. I remember that in the days when I was younger with the Cabbage Patch doll. My cousins, I don't have any sisters, but my cousins, my old these Cabbage Patch doll, they put a little bit out there to get the crowd going crazy to drive up demand. And this is something that we talked about on BGST. Shout out to my brother. He had a great show yesterday, by the way. That's probably what Sony did. You know what I mean? Now I do expect the PlayStation VR to sell well at launch, because what happens is you can have all your diehard, your Sony fans, diehard Sony fans, not the casuals, the diehards. They're gonna go out and buy it day one. But it's not the diehards that make anything successful, whether it's anything, whether the Xbox or PlayStation. No, it's not the diehard. It's the casuals. We don't know if the PlayStation VR again is going to be adopted by the casuals. That's what makes it successful. And that for the $5 price tag, it's kind of steep. And I think the biggest issue that I see the PlayStation VR having is it doesn't have any quote-unquote compelling software, must-have title that people were talking about. But you can say what you want about the Kinect, but Just Dance, Kinect Sports, those were, Kinect Sports sold like 20 million copies, some crazy shit like that. You know what I mean? Those are like, very attractive software for the casuals. Now, I don't know if Sony has that with the PlayStation VR. And like I said, again, that's a pretty steep price just think about it. PlayStation VR costs just as much as the PlayStation 4 Pro. And but what they're saying also, I was reading a report here that Sony is already making a profit, quote unquote, on the PlayStation VR. So there's already being sold at a profit. Normally, when companies put out an item or a gadget, they take a hit on the hardware, make the money back with the software. You know what I mean? That's normally what happens. It didn't happen this generation with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. That's why we're getting these quote unquote these mid-cycle refreshes already. You know what I mean? Neither console are not quote unquote world beaters when it comes to performance and brute force. Like, you know what I mean? To get a AAA game a lot 1080p 60 frames per second, it's very few and far in between if it happens. You know what I mean? You got 1080p. Shit, to even get a 1080p lock 30 is few and far between. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, like we'll see. I don't think that it will catch the Kinect in far as sales. And I'm not saying that because I'm more of an Xbox guy than a PlayStation dude. I think pricing and software is the reason why. You know what I mean? I just don't see moms and pops running out there to spend $500 to get their kid a PlayStation VR. And just think about it. If you get the $400 bundle, you still got to buy the camera. You still got to get the Move controllers. You know what I mean? If you're not lucky enough to get your hands on the bundle. And then after that, you're also going to buy a game or two. You know what I mean? So we're talking about at least $600. You know what I mean? That's when I did my initial video when I said $600. Oh, no, you're lying, next gen. They said no, because you got to get the Move controllers, the camera. All that stuff is not included in the standard alone box bundle for $400. You know what I mean? And you have to buy a game or two. You know what I mean? So we shall see. But anyway, this is your boy, Next Gen 720, and I'll catch you guys later. Listen, remember, hit the subscribe button. If you're subscribed to my channel already, right next to the subscribe tab, there's a little bell. Hit the bell and check notify all. A lot of people, not just such as myself, videos are not showing up in YouTube's algorithm, so a lot of our subscribers are not knowing when we're making videos. Like I said, I'm working. I'm always working, right? Like James Brown. Partnered with a few, companies on the low. I tell you, guys, if you're starting off to do YouTube, check your inbox, your community, your messages. I'm going back to messages dating back to last year, business opportunities that I never seen. Like I just don't ever check it. You know what I mean? So like I said, but you guys hitting the like button, subscribe, helps me to help you guys with giveaways and stuff like that for free. Thank you guys for rocking out with me. I'm out of here. Bang bang.